What's up, everybody? Welcome back to your favorite wrestling podcast. It is the Monday Night Wave, and we're back with a special reaction episode to the illustrious Clash of the Castle pay-per-view. I go by Jay, aka one half of this great fucking tag team of wrestling. I should have cussed out. My bad. And from here, I'll pass it off to the one, the only, my co-host. Take it away from here.
He is a wild card. He is the king of gorgeous. He is Mr. Sexy Ass Lottery. He is Hero, and I am he. Welcome back to the Monday Night Wave, everybody. And bad news, Loner. I'm afraid I got a bad question for you. And that question is, what do you want to pod about, brother? Besides the fact that you already told us. Clash at the damn castle. Let's go.
Clash at the Castle, but it's also a great day to pod about wrestling, people. We got a lot to talk about. A pretty decent pay-per-view or PLE. Once again, don't forget to follow us and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on Spotify as well. Keep following. That's where you can find all our content. But yeah, let's get into some news first before we jump into our thoughts about this PLE. First things first, Chad motherfucking Gable resigns. The man, he confirmed. I think I saw from PW Insider, but he was doing what looks like an interview with somebody, and he confirmed that he had resigned with WWE, saying, and I believe quoting that just under Triple H it was a different kind of regime, and that he's actually like following through on the promises that he has made to Chad, and thus Chad was like, "Yeah, I'm here." How do you feel about that? How do you feel? It feels good to know that people are fulfilling their back end, or at least the higher ups are filling the back end to talent.
Yeah, we keep hearing news of how Triple H, like how everyone's reacting to Triple H running things, and it's so far. We could argue it's still in the honeymoon phase, but so far everything from every wrestler that's been talking about it has been nothing but positive. Seems like he cares about family. He's very family orientated, which is why people get breaks. And and as far as like booking and stuff like that, it seems like he's keeping his promises for the most part. He's whatever to make a good show, but also to keep the talent happy. I think it's good shit. I'm happy for Chad. I'm happy for anyone who chooses to sign or not resign. As long as they make the best life choices for them, that's up to them. But my only thing is, and we talked about it, is why is it taking so long for why does it seem like they're doing all these signings very, very last minute? But also at the same time, we have to realize, granted, again, like Fightful and PW Insider, those are really they're cited sources and they're trusted sources. But also, we don't really know these people's unless we physically have their contract. We don't know when the real last date is. For all we know, it could also just be internet, just buzzing and oh, Ricochet got 4 more days. He got 8 more days. Shit like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, that's that. I mean, we already talked about it. That's my only concern is why are they doing this last minute? It feels like you're trying to do an essay the night before it's due or something. But other than that,
right?
As long as shit's getting handled and everyone's happy, as a fan, there's not much I can complain about. So.
Nah. I think that you are absolutely, we talked about it before, we're correct on just, hey, this last minute shit's kind of crazy. However, at the end of the day, you got what you wanted, which was to re-sign a phenomenal fucking talent. We definitely got some story implications with Chad this entire month, but let alone even after Clash of the Castle, we got more things buzzing for him here. And I think the sky's the limit for Chad. I think he's going to be a phenomenal wrestler in WWE. I think honestly he fits W better than he would anywhere else. It's also kind of cool to.
I was gonna say no, my bad. I was gonna just say and he's just getting started.
Exactly,
he's been here for a while, yes, but the way he's being presented, we're just getting started. He's not in his peak yet. Not as far as character wise, as far as actual age and physical ability, he's not even. He's still at the base of a mountain as far as So there's a lot of trajectory, a lot of.
Yeah, it's kind of cool also because I think Triple H was able to respond to that as well, and just said that he was flattered that, like, of the things that Chad has said about him, and that he said himself that regardless of where, like, Chad would have went, he would have been happy for him. Of course, he's happy that he stayed home, but he's more like, backing, talent and them controlling their path. Of course, he wants to keep everybody. That's what they always want to do. But if something's better for somebody else somewhere else, then he can't, like, fault them for that.
Right.
Uh, Next up on the news cycle, we have Jeff Hardy showing up in TNA. I'm a little bittersweet, not because I didn't want Jeff to leave AEW. It's just more so like the last moment we got of Jeff in AEW was him getting his nose broken. Um, which is it's fucked because, like, you don't really get to leave on like a damn, he came back, he had a great match, he left. No, he was just immediately in TNA following Matt, which is great. They want to do stuff together, they want to finish their career how they want to finish it, which is, I'm all for that. Yeah, it also seems that, like, there is no non-compete clauses for AEW contracts, if I'm not mistaken. It looks like they can just show up, like,
Yeah, I don't.
within the month pretty soon.
Yeah,
It's not a long time.
Yeah, no, it's not. But I mean, yeah, based on like Ethan Page, based on, I mean, the CM Punk interview when he was talking about how he was telling Nick Khan, he's like, no, I don't have a compete clause. And Nick was like,
Yeah.
man, I wish you would have told me that 2 months sooner because I literally waited 90 days to you up. But yeah, maybe they don't, or maybe it's only like a short one. Maybe instead of 90 days, it's like you can't do nothing for a week or something. Who knows? But yeah, it seems non-existent. Non-compete
And I'm a fan
clause.
of that, by the way. I'm not complaining about that. I'm a fan of, like, being able to just show up, whenever you want to. Like, that's cool.
Which, I mean, and then yeah, we talked about it too. I mean, I don't know when it goes into effect, but yeah, we talked about the law or whatever, or the government. They were trying to change the non-compete stuff anyway.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So yeah, who knows when that goes into effect? But maybe this is just them practicing. I mean, because yeah, shoot, I don't remember. Because Scripps finally showed up. Reggie,
He did. He was
at
at
GCW.
GCW.
I don't remember if it's been 90 days since we saw him on NXT TV,
Mm-mm.
but I feel like it's been either close to that 90 or so. So I mean, yeah, I don't know. Who knows?
And maybe it could be for the ones, like, at least for the ones in WWE, maybe, like, they have to finish their original, like, Vince era contracts before they can get into the new ones where, like, hey, maybe there is no non-compete clause. Maybe WWE still has non-compete clauses. But as far as, like, AEW's on, we seen them, like, all right, I'm over here immediately. Like, even look with like Andrade. Like, I think it took him maybe like a month or two to show up.
Yeah, and
But
that
we
was
all knew
just
that he was going to go over there.
exactly. And the part of that was just them building the anticipation for him to show up at
Exactly.
Rumble or whatever. So, you know. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool
Next
that he's
up,
with his brother. Yeah, it's cool.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
I've
it's
said in
not.
the group chat jokingly that, like, damn, y'all hate the Hardys. It's not that we hate the Hardys. I don't hate the Hardys, but it's
I
just
don't
like,
know.
what do y'all want to do? Like, y'all can't be high flyers and Team Extreme no more.
No,
I think that's out the bag. Like, you can't do that. Like, I mean, they can, but is that what you want to see?
you
You want to
gotta.
see Matt and
Yeah.
Jeff jump off ladders?
I mean, shit, man. I mean, Matt can barely climb a damn ladder. I don't want to see him jump off. So,
Oh fuck. Um Next up in the news cycle, we have kind of a somber one and a sad one. Earlier this week that we heard that Alba Fyre had lost, her mother to a tragic, like, car accident. Uh it I didn't see any news reports about this, nor would I have wanted to, because I don't think that kind of information needs to be, like, spread like that. I unintentionally ran into it by just Googling, like, Alba Fyre, looking like her cage matches, trying to figure out when she was wrestling last. And that's when I saw the news about her mother's passing. So first things first, I just want to get off my chest that, thoughts and prayers with Alba Fyre and what she's going through right now. That's just tragic. If I'm not mistaken, the article that I did read, it was her mother and her mother's partner had got hit. And I don't think the partner died. I think it was just her mom. But either way, that's just a horrible situation right before one of your biggest matches inside of like, your home. Like this is tragic all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sending out my condolences and positive energy to her and her family. Shit sucks.
Spinning off of, not spinning off of that, you can't spin off of that, but to change trajectory a little bit, we got some crossovers happening. It looks like EO will be performing in Marigold.
July 13th at Summer's. The show is called Summer Destiny, I believe.
Okay. With that kind of makes sense in the aspect of her losing like the belt. I don't think she needed to, but maybe if you wanted to do these dates in Marigold, maybe they have something more planned in the future. I don't know. But if in order for her to do these outside wrestling events, she had to relinquish her title, it kind of makes sense. Just so you can be booked and have more free range of like doing stuff. Even if that was the case, I still believe Bayley should have one. I'm not saying Bayley should not have one. But maybe you have to be free of like titles and storylines in WWE to like, go and do these outside like events and whatnot.
Yeah, there's I don't know if there's a rule or anything. So yeah, all that is. I mean, all we're doing is guessing and speculation. But that would make sense to like if you're going to send someone off, have them not be in like a crazy super big storyline, or maybe not have a title just in case they get injured, then they don't have to relinquish it. I guess to me, yeah,
Right.
I you could argue that makes sense. So I'm here for it, and it looks like they are setting up a storyline for EO, but it seems like it's slowly cooking. So.
Right.
Yeah, this gives her time to do a crossover, and she gets the person she's facing. I'm gonna try not to botch this, but Utama Hashishita, and I guess she was a pupil of EO's, or at least like a huge fan growing up. Like she loved EO. So this is a dream match for her. This is you facing your superhero growing up, essentially. So that's like cool. This. Yeah, it's cool for her.
That's dope.
Like, and they didn't tell her about it. So like, if you see the clip of her in the ring and having EO pop up on the video, like that was a genuine reaction. She had no idea. Like, so like all those. Oh yeah, if you guys see the video, like it's all genuine reaction. She had no idea, and that like you could tell that she's on a fucking train of 1,000 emotions, probably.
Absolutely,
but, yeah.
Absolutely.
So, and then we have a second one that just got out.
Yeah,
there was rumored Noah in WWE were going to do something. That story came out, I want to say Monday or so, and then it was officially announced. When that post come out? The post came out 4 days ago that Noah and WWE were possibly working on something. Noah being a Japanese-based company. But yeah, let me scroll. It just came out that we will get AJ Styles versus what's this? I don't know if I can pronounce that one. Naomochi Marufuji.
Marufuji.
Yeah, Destination.
In July 13th.
Oh yeah. So these dates, these dates are back to back. These shows are back to back. I love it. That's fire.
I love the crossover events. I think these are great. I think that it just brings more eyes to wrestling. I think AJ showing up there helps them out. It also gives AJ a break to kind of get away from the WWE style of like wrestling. He can wrestle like one match to the Japanese style that he's so familiar with. Just like I love the crossover with Jordan Grace and TNA. Like these are great. And we got Forbidden Door in like a week or two. So like it's all about crossovers right now. And I think it's just great to be a wrestling fan for sure. Yeah, you're seeing everybody from everywhere.
Yeah.
We got a video from Dax Harwood earlier this week where he came out and said that FTR will be out for a while. It seems that Dak really messed up his back. I believe it was not Double or Nothing. It was Dynasty, I think.
Yeah, it was
the ladder match at Dynasty where and I talked about it. It was a spot where he did like a pile driver on the ladder, and it was like just brutal. And I think he mentioned that spot is kind of where he like messed up his back. And he's been wrestling on it. And the thing is, he's also said in the same video that he has been like, lying to trainers saying that it's not bad. And then like he got some scans and it was like, yo, like this is, we got to pull you off immediately. He admitted that he was at fault for like lying to staff about injuries and lying to Tony about it because none of them knew about it. It was just him just trying to like soldier along because he wanted to finish like the storylines that he had with like the Bucks coming up at Double or Nothing and whatnot. So yeah, overall we're not going to see FTR on TV for a while.
I can't pronounce what happened to his back because I looked at the wording and it looks like a fucking Harry Potter spell. It looks like something crazy. But yeah, no, rest up. I think it's I find it odd that Cash can't get any single matches. But usually in wrestling, when a tag team is injured, more often than not, both people go away. It's only in rare instances where one person stays, similar to like an Ivar or whatever. But
shit, I mean,
piggybacking off that real quick. I mean, we're still talking about Dax, but it looks like Eric, he posted himself in at the PC, so he might be coming back soon.
I seen that. Yeah. And who knows? We might see Cash in the Owen Hart Cup.
I would hope so, because Dax is since they've been at AEW, Dax is the only one that gets single matches. He loses like all of them, but I don't know. To me, it's weird that Dax is the only one that gets single matches and Cash never gets a single match. But that's just it doesn't matter. That's just me randomly thinking or questioning. Like that's kind of odd, but it is what it is. So
it also depends. That's true. That's true. And also it just depends on like the length of the injury. Like if Dax is out maybe like let's say 3 months. Hey, you got summertime with your kids and your family, like before you have to go to work. Cool.
Yeah.
Versus like Dax being out and God forbid like a year and a half. That's when plans we kind of have to like start thinking a little bit differently. But if it's a short term, like you're gone for the summer, maybe you pop back up, November sometime around there. I think they'll be fine.
Yeah.
Last story was actually one that happened this Monday on Raw. Ricochet was currently written off in one of the most action-oriented ways that we've seen in WWE in a while. What's crazy about the moment, he gets thrown headfirst into the top of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, God damn, bro, this man is being ragdolled everywhere. And then we see him set up.
That landing though.
That landing was crazy.
He hit his elbow like, nah, bro. Like that, like the dart to the truck. That part was fine, whatever. But that landing, it sounded like a super kick. Like it's like his elbow. Like I wouldn't be surprised if that was a real write-off at this point because like, the way that elbow sounded, bro, that shit sounded like
in like the way this man was like wheezing and breathing on his. I'm like, yo, he's really selling the fuck out of this, right? It sets up to like Braun getting on the steps, and then we just see him just crash land Ricochet into what is a car's windows or windshield.
Yeah, real glass. Fyre brought it.
Real glass. And I saw a little bit of that on Twitter, and that shit was funny to me too, because it's just in hindsight, if anybody's doing the real glass spot and nobody says anything, it was WWE, and it was like we just talked about this. But yeah, he gets slammed through real glass, what looks to be like an official way that he's being written off, or an open up for him to return. I believe what the reports that I read was that it's being looked at either way. To where if he comes back, this is like, okay, a great way to come back off of like this cinematic ending. Or if you're written off, this is how you go out. Currently, we have no idea where he's going and what his deal is right now.
According to the internet, before Raw, it was, he's for sure going to AEW. After Raw, it's still mostly like 60-40. He's going to AEW, but like, no, like there's that 40... Because like you were saying, like it was a write off, but it wasn't, to me. It was like an official like crazy write off. Like he didn't kill him. Like he didn't he could have did something crazier. Like they could have did a get hit by a bus arc or just or throw him off something even higher. Like what fucking Kurt Angle did the Big Show or something.
Mm-hmm.
And like him even giving the thumbs up. And then earlier in the show where he was telling Ilya like we will run this back. Yeah, no, I feel like they left it to where because it seems like according to again the internet, like we get different things all the time. Apparently, the contract ends in somewhere in July. So, and it seems like he's still. One source is saying it's up in the air. The other source is saying like no, he's for sure going to go to AEW. But yeah, the way that the angle went, it seems like he could return because yeah, it wasn't that drastic of a write off as. But yeah, it was yeah. So yeah, I think it's either way. It's on the fence. Like if he returns, it will be a crazy pop, especially depending on how they book the return. But yeah, if he doesn't return, then he's gone for a little bit, and best luck. So
Yeah. Once again, do whatever makes you happy. Whatever's going to keep you and your family paid, because that's what's important at the end of the day. Storylines and everything are great, but take care of yourself for sure. Yeah. I'm just a little like his placement as far as like if he does return to WWE, like where do we see him at? Where do we want to place him? Because of course he belongs to like that in that mid card range. Like that's where he's been living at.
yeah,
And maybe it might look a little bit different in the Paul Levesque era than it did in the VKM era. But I also understand the idea, like you want to be used properly as much as possible, and we know that things take time in WWE. So it would just be interesting to see how he gets used when he comes back, if he comes back to WWE. That's where my thought process is at.
yeah, no, and that makes sense. To me, it's not saying that he can't be a world champion. Anybody I feel like could be a world champion, especially if the timing is right. But yeah, it seems like the ceiling at the moment is the mid card, which isn't a bad thing. He just needs better stories. Like everything that Chad Gable's been doing, like has been great, has been significant, has been meaningful. He needs stories like that to where it's like we talk about all the time. He'll win all these matches and then he'll lose the most important one, and then he'll be like it just kind of rinse and repeat. Like he beat all of
Right.
Judgment Day, but he didn't get a championship match. Like they could have made it to where he fought Damian real quick.
Right.
That could have been a main event out of Raw or something.
And that falls more so like inside like booking and whatnot. Because like he has one of these matches, and these matches are supposed to be important, and then it's like the plane just like just tanks off a little bit. And we'll talk about some booking decisions because there's definitely like a moment inside like this pay-per-view. But yeah, it's hard to follow something when you're being in this game of tug of war with like your emotions and whatnot.
Yeah.
With that being said, let's jump into it. Clash of the Castle in Glasgow, Scotland. Overall, I was excited going into this. I was like, these matches are going to be good. We had our predictions before, and most of them were pretty accurate. Off the rip, we get Cody and AJ. So this wasn't the main event. This is how they opened the show, which I love. Opening the show with the banger. Like, let's just go ahead right into it.
Yeah. Which and that also makes sense.
What you got? What's your initial?
I was gonna say Drew should have main evented. Overall,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, no, overall, it was a banger ass match to me. They get straight to hands. It was they definitely upped the ante compared to their Backlash match.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah.
It was a good shit. Fucking there's like they fight in the audience relatively early, and then they even go. It was either Gorilla or it was during the like wherever the camera productions were. So they're fighting all over the arena. We get some blood, which was
a little blade.
Yeah, a little. Yeah, I mean, to me, it looked fake. It looked like that. It looked like that really bright fluorescent blood, like you get like in a B horror movie, which isn't bad. I'm not saying this to say it's bad, but it looked fake. Which
it was a little watery.
Yeah, but if I'm fine with it if it's done right. Like we talked. I mean, it's talked about it before. I'm fine with the fake blood if it's done right and it looks good. This one looked good, and the one the other week that I thought was possibly fake that looked good too. Also, in like JD McDonough's like bruise, like that clearly when Logan Paul punched him or whatever. You know, that was clearly makeup, but it looked good. It looked really good. So yeah, get your makeup people in there, your MUAs. I'm here for it.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Would you get? Not too many crazy ass spots. Before that busted open spot, there was a nice ass brain buster that AJ did to him on the table. That was that was heat. I was like, oh yeah, he trying to go. Shit. There's a moment where Cody passes out from the STF, and AJ thinks he's like, all right, I won. And he's like, when the ref is like, he has to say, I quit.
He can't say nothing.
He can't talk. Yeah, that's an interesting way for them to keep this going. Because absolutely, in any other match, AJ, that's a win for AJ. You know, so.
It's funny with that spot, like he ends up grabbing like the water bottle, just wake up, Cody, and just starts splashing with the water and whatnot, just being just a complete menace. And then launched it, bro,
at close range. That was one of the loudest hits in the whole show. That was as loud as a Gunther chop. He lost that shit.
Nah, a water bottle with the same impact as a Gunther chop is hilarious. This match I felt like it was good. I do prefer the Backlash one over this one, but that doesn't mean it was bad. I just like my preferences.
Yeah. I thought there would be more drama.
I will go with that as well.
There wasn't enough cinema, quote unquote, because going into the match, I'm like, how? Because they talk about it. AJ never lost an I Quit match in any promotion. He was 4-0, and this is Cody's first I Quit match. Okay, so it's like, all right, which knee is going to bend here? And also, it's like, what the hell is AJ going to do to make Cody quit? And then I saw that his mom is going to be there. I'm like, oh shit, are we going to get a title change? Because like, is he going to hit his mom or some shit? So I don't know, like my mind was just going everywhere. I'm like, what is AJ going to do to try to make Cody quit? And what stakes is Cody going to do to AJ? Because at this point, based on, if we're talking kayfabe and just talking about the characters, coming from AJ's point of view, like this is his literal last quote unquote chance. Like he faked a retirement to get this. So in my mind, I'm like, you got to do something really, really wild to make this old guy quit, because this old guy, like, I mean, granted, he talks about, I got kids I can just be seeing, you know, how many graduations that I missed. So maybe that's why he did quit, like when we get to the ending. But in my mind, I'm like, it kind of, to me, it should have been a little more dramatic. Like it should have been a little crazier than just getting threatened by some steps.
Yeah. And so like, I agree. Cause like, here's the thing. I do feel like there was almost a little bit too much of like, I don't know if interference is the right word. Interference / like storyline parts in a lot of these matches, at least on the back half, to where like I didn't like it on that end of it, but for this match in particular, I feel like there should have been more like, you know, drama, more theatrics because of, you know, the implications of the I Quit match. It is crazy because it's funny because like you did say, or he did quit by Cody holding the steps, and all I could think about was just back when we were talking about Orange Cassidy, like no selling the steps, and I'm like, this is how the steps are supposed to be used in this hierarchy of like, you know, danger.
It should be scary.
This should have been like exactly,
Which does that. Before that part, real quick though, because AJ does bring out some handcuffs, and he handcuffs Cody.
Some long ass handcuffs too.
Man, he beats the shit out of him though. With the kendo stick as he's handcuffed. He puts the he beats the hell out of him. He goes for a forearm with a chain wrapped around his arm. And as he does that, fucking Cody launches a chair at him, and then he falls into a table. And this shit, I thought it was a funny spot, but it did trigger me because the other week DT and I were doing some 2K, and I was climbing on the top rope. It was a fatal 4-way match, and he launched a chair at me. I wasn't even aiming at him. And then he launched a chair at me, and I fell off. And I was like, "Oh, this motherfucker!" So I was like, "Oh,
this is
art.
It's real.
Art really does imitate life." But
that's just funny.
So then after that, Cody gets to come back, and he goes fucking. what I do like is that we do see a more ferocious
Yeah.
Cody,
Yeah.
tapping into that dark side a little bit. Not full Sith, but he's tapping into it. Because when he handcuffs AJ in return to the rope and beats his ass with that chair, like he he was beating the shit, and I'm like, yes.
You quit, AJ? Do you quit? Screw you, Cody.
Yeah, and that was a funny part too, because like there was a part where after because that was after the chair shots. And before he says "screw you," AJ does he thought about it for like a hot second, which he should have because those chair shots were fucking. They look crazy. He's like, "Screw you, Cody."
Screw you, Cody Rhodes.
That shit was funny.
You quit. It's like, man, I should, but I got too much pride. Yeah. Overall, like I think the match is great. I do like how we are getting the aggressive Cody. Ever since Mania, he's been, when it comes to like those kill moments, Cody's been locking in, especially in like these PLE matches. Yeah, I think it was good. This is probably my favorite match of the show for sure. I think this was my match of the show. I do like the involvement for his mom. She was slapping the fuck out of AJ.
Yeah, she
I do. Times. She did.
I was like, damn, show? All right.
And the thing is, kind of like we also had our own thoughts of what may have happened because we did see that she had traveled with him to Glasgow. And so we're all sitting like, oh my god, like his mom's there. He's definitely gonna say I quit. And maybe that kind of heightened like the expectations that maybe I had for myself is like, okay, it's gonna be more drama than what it should be. But even the parts that she was a part of, like it was still great. I just thought like, oh, maybe like Cody's gonna be bleeding in front of his mom, and that's what's gonna make him quit, kind of thing. And like that was not it at all.
No. But that's honestly, I feel like this is just AJ not really being in his bag because a real nigga like me would have had the OC grab his mom and put her in a guillotine choke or something. You know what I'm saying? Or
we can't do that. That's crazy.
I would have had Miriam on the Tikatron on Skype on FaceTime beating up Brandy and the dog. You got me. No, you gonna quit, bro. But hey, it's what it is.
That shit would have been crazy. That would have been like some OD shit or OC shit. Yeah, Cody retains. He ends up putting AJ through like 3 fucking crossroads onto the chair. Then he gets him to quit by picking up the steel steps. AJ quits, and then Cody still hits him with the steel steps afterwards because he looks at his mom like, "Did he? You okay?" Like, I respect it.
No, you don't ever raise a single volume to my mother, nigga.
I raised a chair at his mom. Like he was about to go back and smack her with the chair. Like you got to get these steps, my boy.
Yeah, those steps.
As Cody's like exiting, he hits the top of the entranceway. We see the one and only Solo Sikoa come out and he stands next to Cody, and it was kind of cool how they did it. I did like that.
I did like it too,
and then
because it's really menacing.
I like that. It was.
It's like because it was it's comedic, but it was. But I don't know. There's something so menacing about the. You ever see the movie The Mask, the Jim Carrey vehicle? Mm-hmm. Like how like when the bad guy gets the mask, like he's still evil and scary looking, but there were still like certain comedic parts to him, and that's kind of how I felt. Where it was like, Solo standing by the side of him, like that's something R-Truth would have done, but Solo doing it. It's still funny, but it's like not as funny because it's like kind of scary.
The feeling changes. Yeah,
it's like because if a nigga like him is doing that kind of like comedic timing where he's like, I'm just standing on the side, you looking at you, surprising you this way. I don't know. It makes it kind of scarier.
Yeah. I like it. So I like the way Solo did it. I'm a little bit more concerned with Bloodline Cody 2 months after Mania. You know. That's where my concern gets is that like we just got this or the conclusion to this in April. We're going to spin it back 2 months or 2 months from then.
I don't know. Okay, so the Bloodline attacks Cody. RKO comes out to save him, and which they do. So baby faces are on top. and then before the camera goes away, you see Randy eyeing the shit out of that title.
Absolutely.
So I think this bloodline story. I mean, so yeah, he might fight. He might face Solo at like Money in the Bank or something. But I think whatever happens during this feud is going to turn into Randy versus Cody. Like they might do a 3-man, like a 6-man or something like that. But I feel like whatever this Solo fighting Cody and not beating Cody because he's not on that level yet is going to slowly turn into probably him adding the other Tonga, and then also I feel like it's going to turn into Randy versus Cody. Because I don't know, I imagine the 6-man going on, the baby faces win, and then Cody gets RKO'd or something. Then you start setting up that match. I mean that's kind of lazy, but there's I can see it also.
There's a couple of different lanes that I could see. Right. The first one is that like, okay, we have this short 4-week build between Solo and Cody, but it's used as a detour route for the Roman side of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I see you trying to like get after Cody because of what happened, but you lose, and that can kind of venture off into like Roman side of it, right? So maybe you have Solo versus Cody at Money in the Bank, but that transitions into Solo Roman for SummerSlam,
right.
or you do. I have a feeling they'll probably do some kind of like 3-way tag at some point, 6-man tag between Randy, KO, and Cody versus Bloodline. Probably like a SmackDown or something like that. And then ultimately we'll get, Randy, Cody at SummerSlam, which I'm fine with that as well.
That's a money match to me.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be Solo Randy or Solo Cody at SummerSlam. I think that I would prefer Randy versus Cody.
No, absolutely.
I think as long as this is like a detour route to get to Roman for them, cool. That pushes the Bloodline story away from Cody. I'm all for it. But if it goes longer into where we're seeing Bloodline still jump Cody in SummerSlam, I'm gonna be a little like, God damn, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. Outside of that, like that's my only like gripes with the Bloodline angle against Cody at the end of this. Other than that, great opening match, by the way. It was a fucking heater to start the match or start the PLE off. Next up, we have Jade, Bianca versus Shayna, Zoey versus Alba and Isla Dawn for the Women's Tag Team Championships. My first thoughts was just straight to Jade and Bianca's gear. Loved it. Thought that shit was fire. The spike braid, fire. Loved it. Quick note is that the chemistry is being shown. The chemistry between Jade and Bianca has gotten to a point to where like they're getting really good working together. And I really enjoyed that part of it. I enjoyed seeing them like look just way more fluid than before. You can definitely tell that Jade is still learning and still under the tree of Bianca. Yeah, what do you got about this or for this match?
Yeah, it was a good ass match. Yeah, Jade is she's getting so much better. I didn't write too much down because there wasn't like any like there wasn't super crazy spots. My favorite spot is like Jade and Bianca's offense is as a tag team is just fire. Like they were dominating majority of that first half of the match to the point where Shayna had all the other 3 girls outside the ring, and we're like, nah, we got to jump them. We got to get we got to get them out because I think it was Corey. It was either Corey or Barrett.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, one of them was like, yeah, they are a cheat code. Like, and it's true. Like they are like, and we talked about this when we first saw them team up, and I was like, oh, like who is going to
nobody's beating them?
Like, nobody. Like this is a crazy ass tag team. And to get beat, yeah, I feel like I feel like they're gonna get the tag. I feel like they're gonna get the titles back, and then like put over a team by the team actually pinning them because they didn't get pinned during this match. But
yeah, let's get into it. We got to the end of it.
Real quick. Real quick. There's a spot where Jade gets a hot tag and she tries to jump off the ropes and she slips. There's like 2 other matches that have spots that involve ropes that are fucked up. Turns out because we clip is online today or right now. That's in the cycle. In the beginning of AJ and Cody's match, the ref points out to AJ how the ropes are really loose. So, and yeah, again, we see multiple spots involving the ropes throughout the show that fuck up people. So I know, like, because it's the internet. So like, soon as they saw Jade make a botch or whatever, motherfuckers was hungry to talk shit.
Because people are weird.
Yeah, and that's from both sides. That's not just AEW bots, it's WWE bots too, or just people who hate black women in general. But yeah, people are just weird. Yeah, so she slept, but they all recovered well. There's a moment in the main event where it looks scary to you. So yeah, those ropes were finicky. I just want to get that out of the way because
I think it wasn't just their match. Like I said, it was a couple matches. I think there's a spot in like Chad and Sammy's match too, where like they had a rope spot. And it was kind of finicky.
Yeah, and then Damian Priest's spot.
Bro, I look at like I hate to even say the word botches in wrestling because I feel like it's such a negative connotation.
It is.
But shit like that is like watching like somebody in the NBA like rim check. It's still an amazing feat that you couldn't do. And this shit happens. It's part of the game. So when I seen it, I was like, oh, okay, that was wild. I don't consider it a botch. I just consider it like, oh damn, like, you slipped up.
Yeah, she slipped. But they all recovered well. Like,
yeah,
and it's set up for some other good spots. But
we see that they end up doing like the wheelbarrow power slam that they do, which sets up like it looks to be a pin that Jade was going to get. She then ends up getting German suplex by Isla, and then Isla takes the roll up for the win. And now we have Alba Fyre and Isla Dawn as the new women's tag team champions. Initial thoughts is like I feel like it was out of nowhere. Surprises, which is great because I love surprises, but this is also a surprise that kind of didn't make any sense because it wasn't like there was any build towards them as a team. And I can say that confidently. Like we didn't see anything between like the spooky girls as far as like build up or storylines or anything. They were just behind the scenes with Pierce and talking about how they wanted to be inside the tag team championship match or tag team championship, just like, realm. And then they get the tag belts. And so I'm a little confused by that. Like I said, I enjoy surprises. I enjoy like, oh, it's a different person with the belt, but this one also just didn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. I was surprised by the win. This was the only match that got spoiled for me from checking online. So I was surprised by it. I think this is one of those moments to where, I mean, they put it like, okay, someone from the hometown had to win during the show, and the other two people, spoiler alert, they don't. So then these two had to, I guess. And then also based off the tragedy, maybe this was, I wouldn't say a give me, but I don't know. I think
it's.
I think we gotta let it play out. I think this was them, like, because they did lose on Monday against Shayna and Zoey. So maybe this was the way to be like, okay, we're giving you guys a moment. You guys are gonna have time to cut all the promos and shit and be on TV and with the titles, and it gives a reason for Jade and Bianca to go back and become 2-time, so that way they get more title runs. I don't know.
That's the lane.
Yeah, I mean,
because we don't know if that's it. So, like, first off, we're going to double back to part of the match where, like, Jade is in the Karafuda clutch and it looks like she taps.
Yeah.
And so, like, I don't know if that was like her tapping. I don't know if it's a miscue. They probably play it off in storyline or story wise to where maybe Shayna and Zoey feel like they should have been champions. They'll probably run it back with Alba and Isla.
Yeah.
If that's, I think that's what you should do because like there was just so many. It was just a miscue in that match. I was like, oh, she tapped. Like that should have been it. And everybody seen that. To where now it's like if you not the ref, which was crazy, which was insane. Part of the story. But yeah, like I don't know. I feel like giving them as the champions and then not having any like backing behind the crowds, especially because that's what like WWE kind of like matches are cultivated behind her, just like build ups, and this is who you are, and showing the fans who you are. To where now, like they have no build up, but they have the belts. How do you connect that with the fans? You know, how do you fast track that into like success? I don't want them to fail because you guys didn't give them a proper build.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I understand that. I think we just got to let it play out and see what happens on Monday. They will for sure run it back with Zoey and Shayna, and probably even obviously the Black Bombshells also. And yeah, that weird tapping thing was weird. I think that's just another thing that Jade's has to work on as far as like selling and stuff. Because I think it would have made more sense if her fist was closed, because it looked like it was one of those trying a feat moments to where like it looks like you're passing out and then you get back up because you're strong or whatever. But with her hand being open, it looks more like, instead of like shaking to try to get that adrenaline, like try to get that comeback, her hand being open, and then
it looks like a tap.
It was looking like a tap, and then commentators have to recover it. And luckily, Jess was behind her during that first initial one, because that was definitely
right.
I was like, oh shit, is she tap? Like everyone thought she was tapping, and the commentators did a good job trying to recover it too. And then luckily, Jess was behind them. But I think it's just one of those miscues of just again learning, selling and where the camera is, like where the hard cam is, all that shit like that.
If this is the end of the Jade and Bianca run, how do you feel about that? Like personally, I feel like because they just got it at Backlash, right? Like they weren't champions for that long, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, they weren't. If this was the end, I don't think it is, but if it was the end, I would say it is underwhelming based on the ending. I don't need them to like turn on each other or nothing like that. It's just losing.
I don't want that. That's all I don't want. Just do not make them turn. I don't want that.
But I can see this. I think it's a temporary. I think they're going to play hot potato with the tag belts for a minute. I don't know. I can see. I see them winning them back at SummerSlam. So I think this is a chance for them to be in a storyline that doesn't involve the titles, so that we get more, character work for Jade, and just as a team as a whole, like they can be in a storyline that doesn't revolve the title. Tiffany and Nia Tiffany's trying to be a team with Nia, so maybe they can feud for a little bit, because Nia, she doesn't fight Bayley until SummerSlam. So there's like between now and SummerSlam, there's a lot of limbo time that people need to find some shit to do. So I can see Cocoa Butter Combat Club winning the titles back at SummerSlam. And
it's like, do we do a Money in the Bank without Jade though? And that's the thing too, is that like you kind of have to have somebody in this women's Money in the Bank, especially with like no Becky, Bayley's champ. We don't have a current return time on Charlotte. You need somebody to kind of like anchor this Money in the Bank. Nia won't be in it because she's going to face Bayley at SummerSlam.
And if Charlotte was healed, she shouldn't be in it either. Like that's Charlotte Flair.
It's also true. So it's like
she can show up and be like, I want to talk. Like actually, no, she's done that like 8 out of her title runs.
That's
back.
Charlotte's run.
I want a match right now. I'm like, okay,
yeah, what? Skipping the line, bro. What are you talking about?
So in saying that, I can see again, I can see like they do some qualifier matches or whatever. Jade wins hers, so that it just puts the team on pause or whatever. So yeah, I do not think this is the end of this tag team. If it was, then yeah, it's underwhelming, and I'm a little disappointed because they could have went out a little better, I guess.
They could have went out, and I'm okay with them losing, but we could have had them going out to somebody who's been building, like somebody who's been like, okay, they finally got their white hot, or not white hot, but they're heating up. This is what's going to put them over the edge. And if that was the case, fuck, bro. If that was the case, also, like, why not just give it to Shayna and Zoey? Because the ones who have been building, the ones who have been getting better as like a team or whatnot. And I can only think about like, you saying like, hey, we brought 3 of them over here back home. Somebody has to win, And I don't want that to be the factor of why Alba and them won. It's because they were back home. They had to win. Like that's trash.
Yeah, no, yeah.
Not them, but
I think
the situation.
I think it's gonna I think it's gonna play out. Yeah, and I think it will play out. And I think Jade and Bianca will get the belts again at SummerSlam.
All right, let's go.
It's my current prediction.
Next match was Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the IC belt, which is I guess the last title shot for Sami or for Chad.
Yeah. This match was heat right away, man. The crowd was going crazy. We get some really good technical wrestling in the beginning. Like we're talking arm drags, like all sorts of like legit wrestling, like gymnastic collegiate type wrestling. Man, yeah, crowd was going crazy. Crowd was cheering Otis a lot too. Like when this Otis turn finally happens, it's gonna be good. But yeah, man, match was heat.
That's the thing, is that up until like this is the third match of the show, and I'm like, okay, they're cooking. Like up until the end of this match is where I was like, okay, now I'm a little like, because this match was good. Beginning of the match is great. Middle of the match is great. Where like we have I put in my notes like Chaos Theory has to be in my top 3 favorite like finishers like. Currently, number 1 is Dr. Bomb, but like 2 would probably be Chaos Theory because it looks so fucking dope.
Yeah, and the fact that he can do it to literally anybody.
It's fucking wild, bro. And so like I was into like the whole wrestling aspect, like this is going to be a clean cut, no interference, no storyline implications, just these two battling it out, and then we end up getting like the Maxine and Otis stuff within this match. And I feel like it just took away from the match for me. And maybe just because I'm looking for clean cut, bell to bell. We have a conclusion that can't be blamed on nobody else. This is the outcome of the match. Versus like, people like either interfering or playing some kind of like role in the match. And I think that's just me more so as a personal thing that I dislike. I understand that like that's part of the entertainment aspect. You do have to complete these stories, but I just hate it at the cost of interference within the match, or not necessarily interference, but it's like intervening with inside the match, rather than just being like, okay, ding, 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 Sami won. Now we can do the story parts of the shit. I'm okay with the story aspect. I just hate when it's inside like the matches, and it wasn't a lot of it, so it's not a lot to complain about. And nor am I complaining. It's just more so like I just wanted a clean being done kind of thing. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm the one stripping.
Maybe I don't know, but no, I thought it was a good match. The Maxine failing to hit Sami again.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the part that I'm over with is just the will they won't they of it.
Yep.
Because like again,
that's
like,
what I mean. Yeah.
We talked about it before. Like Otis has been healed. Like Otis and Chad have been healed before. So the fact that maybe it's because it's Sami. Maybe if it was someone else that was holding the title and it wasn't Sami, maybe he wouldn't hesitate. If that's the case, I feel like they should emphasize that part a little more. That it has nothing to do that Otis is afraid to pull the trigger. It's just that he's afraid to pull the trigger against someone as awesome and genuinely kind-hearted as Sami. To me, that would make more sense, and maybe that's what they were trying to go for. It just didn't. To me, it hasn't translated as much. But
so when do they do the pop? When do we get the full like turn? Then I'm like, this has to happen Monday, right? Like, yeah.
I'm assuming it happens Monday. Like, okay, I thought Chad was going to win this match. I'm a little shocked that he didn't, only because the question that we just asked, like, when is this turn going to happen? Like, when is Chad going to align with the Creed Bros or whatever? And this title, similar to other feuds, like this feud doesn't need a title. Like the feud between Otis and Chad, when the feud does happen, it doesn't need a title. But I mean, I don't know. I thought Chad was going to win this. I'm not mad or sad or anything. I just thought Chad was going to end this or win it because, like, what like on Monday, we're assuming we're going to get another moment of Chad berating the fuck out of the rest of the team and bringing them down. What's been happening the last month or so is that he's been doing this, and Sammy's been coming out to rescue. But Sami, at the end of this match, he does the it's finished. The Vince Carter, it is finished. So it's assuming Chad berates them, like who's gonna is Otis finally just gonna snap and like fuck all this? Otherwise, kayfabe wise, why wouldn't Sami come out to try to liberate these people again for the 30th time, type of thing?
Right.
So yeah, I'm assuming Otis finally snaps tomorrow, but I don't know. We'll see.
That's what I would assume. Like, it has to be tomorrow. Like, any longer, it's like, okay, we can't keep doing this, this tug of war thing. I guess for me, just looking towards the future and aspect of that is that, like, with it being Sami versus Otis, assumably, maybe like at like, a SummerSlam, maybe even Money in the Bank. We're going to need a build for Otis, right? We're going to need like Otis to get some wins and stuff like that to make this even make sense. Yes, the stories are of them beefing, but we haven't seen like Otis in the ring pin somebody.
No.
Like, so like we're gonna need like some Otis victories pretty soon here. We basically just talked about it, but like they end the match with the clip to Maxine's leg. And that's where like Otis kind of like snaps and he's about to go after Sami, and Sami's Maxine calls out to Otis, and that's what kind of like snaps him out of like the trance, and he just carries Maxine back to the back. And that sets up the haluva kick on Gable. Gable loses 1, 2, 3. And we're giving. Looks like that story's ending. We're gonna get a new story. I will say I do like the story of Gable being a failed, like he can coach somebody to win, but he can't win himself. If that makes any sense. Like I do like that story aspect of it, to where like you can give everybody like the great advice to make them better, except for yourself. Like why can't you do it for yourself? Like I do like that. That's a cool like sub layer story that's being told here with Sami or with Chad. Next up, we get Piper versus Bayley for the women's title, women's or WWE women's title. It's not World Heavyweights, WWE women's title.
WWE women's champion. Yeah, something. Yeah, I'm still getting caught up on the
names. This one was cool. I did like this match. Piper was in the driver's seat for a lot of this match, looking good out there, yo.
Look good. Love Bayley. For me, the match started a little slow, but
it did. That was in my notes too.
I genuinely loved this match. I genuinely loved this match. And Bayley, it was a good ass match. Piper starts off as powerhouse, and obviously. So Bayley has to get in her bag. There was a moment where she hits off. She does a crazy ass offense where she hits Piper like in between the ropes. She hits like a elbow on the back of the hits a fucking leg drop, hits another move, and then hits a fucking elbow. Like she hit like 5 moves.
The elbow drop. She hit the Macho Man.
Man, and it was fire. Bayley's offense was fire. There was a moment where Chelsea Green gets involved and she gets kicked out. She puts her hands on Little Nate. And he kicks her out. You don't touch me.
You poke me in my eyes.
And then eventually she comes back wearing a lucha mask, which was funny. I saw a tweet that says... I saw that. It was a picture.
Go ahead. We probably saw the same one.
Chelsea Green and Chelsea Verde. Did you see that?
Bro, popped me. Bro, popped. Chelsea Verde was hilarious, bro. That shit was so fucking funny, man.
Yeah. It's even funnier too because she has ties, or she was a part of Lucha Underground. So that makes it funny too.
Yes, Chelsea Verde definitely popped me. The whole that meme was hilarious. Overall, but this is also one of those moments where I was like, bro, let them just finish the match. Like we kicked Chelsea out, cool. There's no outside interference. Her coming back didn't do anything to progress the match in any way possible. Like
Mm-hmm.
it was just a moment that was like really funny, and I get that because sometimes not all about wrestling. You do have to like entertain people as well, and this was definitely a very entertaining moment.
Mm-hmm.
Dope spot in this match was the Bayley to belly off the turnbuckle. Like
Yeah, man,
that was
Fyre.
fucking crazy. Piper had what looks. Go ahead.
Piper driver. The Piper driver. Is that what that looked good.
Mean.
Man, it looked good. It looked like it looked stiff. I don't think it was as stiff as it looked. Pause. But but it looked like it might have hurt. But it was all good. The way Bayley, I like the story of like Bayley not being able to hit the roast plant on Piper.
Yeah.
So she has to go in her veteran bag and win a different way, which this is setting up, like this is they're planting seeds for when we get Piper Bayley versus Nia in a couple months.
Yeah. So, that's the dope part about this, is that like the change up of like movesets when you're fighting somebody who's bigger. You can see that Bayley was like character wise just frustrated with like, damn, I can't get none of my shit off. Like, how am I going to get this off? To where like you're just taking this beating from somebody bigger than you, and you're like, I don't have any options to deal with this. And like you said, this is definitely long-term storytelling for like how she's going to approach Nia, or maybe can she approach Nia that way? Because who can say maybe Nia's not backstage watching the same thing? Like, okay, this is where she can't, win. Maybe I can get her here. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was a great match. She ends up doing like this crucifix driver for the win.
Yeah.
And uses like all of Piper's momentum for like the pin or for like the flip back to the ring or to the mat. And the dope part about this spot is that like most people just go with the shoulder and then pin, but it was actually like the hook to the leg that solidified the pin. Mm-hmm. I love that. It was a small detail that was like, yes, that's how that's supposed to like happen. Especially when you want to secure the bigger person down.
Exactly. Very veteran move by Bayley. The GOAT.
Very, very much so.
Yeah, Bayley retains. And yeah, it was a good win. And it was it wasn't exactly a roll up like the schoolboy roll up that you hate.
Nah.
But it also she didn't beat her with her finisher. So as far as like rankings go, like yes, she beat Piper, but it wasn't like a super solidified clean finish, but it was still a finish.
No.
But it also wasn't a schoolboy to where it's like, oh yeah, I just got you. Like, no, this was a veteran doing a move and outsmarting her opponent who was much bigger than her. And
it was like a good last resort desperation finish. Like if this shit don't go off, I don't know what will. 'Cause I have to. This only happens. This momentum can only happen one time.
Yeah.
I loved it. I thought like their match was a good match for sure. Yeah. Last match, main event of the night: Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest for the World Heavyweight title.
Campeon.
The El Campeon.
Yeah.
Off rip. Crowd is nuts for Drew.
Nuts.
Absolutely fucking bonkers, bro. Like, just going up for him. To where, like, I sat there, I was like, man, he might win this shit. Look at the reaction that he's getting from these people. Like, he's off the charts right now. Literally, they had a little noise meter, and he was buzzing over there.
Yeah.
I feel like the match was going really well up until the rope spot.
Yeah, man.
I think that's where the momentum changed, and rightfully so, because it looks like he legit like hurt himself on it.
Yeah.
But up until that spot, everything kind of like just changed a little bit for me.
Yeah, I mean, at first Drew was controlling most of the match, and then then it started to go back and forth a little bit. But yeah, that fucking rope spot and them playing it in slow motion, like it was scary. I mean, yeah, like we watch, we watch sports. We're men. We watch sport. No, but no, like you think about like the Paul George leg break, or like there's like we've seen a lot of crazy ass leg stuff in the last 10 years.
We have.
And seeing that rope spot, I was squeamish a little bit. I was like, oh my god, like I was so scared.
Oh my god,
get up!
Oh my god. Is he okay?
But man, no, yeah, it was definitely. I was scared for a hot second, but they recovered well. Drew was like,
Yeah,
"Oh, what? Okay," and then he starts kicking them, and he like goes with the crowd, and like crowd's hype, and they want him to continue to do more damage, and like Drew kind of like has to break.
Great character.
He has to break the fourth wall for a little bit. He's like, I can't win this way, you guys. I can't get the belt this way. I got to help him out, and because the ref couldn't get him out because Drew was trying to stall for time for the ref to get him out, and the ref couldn't do it. So then, the way so Drew had to go back in the ring and like pull him. Like it was weird. It was weird.
He pulls him up to like unlatch his leg, but that's the wild part is that like these ropes are mad fucking strong, bro. Like. Yeah. That had his leg locked up like that. So I can only imagine, like, I don't want to see this, but it's like, that shit getting wrapped around somebody's neck or something like that is mad fucking dangerous, bro. Like, because the ref was that's a grown man in the ring trying to get him out of that. And he could not. It's not like these refs are like scrawny and they don't also work out because they do.
Yeah.
And so like
majority of refs are ex-wrestlers.
Yeah. So like these are fit individuals. He's like, I can't get this man's leg locked out of like this rope. Like, and that was the crazy part. So yeah, it was interesting to see Drew break the fourth wall and come up there and like, all right, I got to help the champion out, guys, and just gets him out of it. But yeah, after that, like the match definitely like declined and rightfully so. At first, I was like, okay, Priest is still in character. He's selling the hell out of his leg, and I realized, nah, I don't think he's selling that shit at all. I think he's really like fucked up. Which is even more impressive because he's doing the razor's edge off the turnbuckle. Mm-hmm. He's doing like the south of heavens. Like he's doing all these big spots on one leg, bro. Like that's different.
Yeah. I see what you mean. It declined for a second, but then a couple minutes maybe. But I thought it picked back up because they were still having a really good back and forth. We get the Claymore through the barricade. That was fire.
Yeah. Barricade implodes. That was dope.
And then we get a couple of South of Heavens. Priest does that Hurricanrana spot.
Yep.
Similar to what
that's immediately followed by a Claymore.
Yeah.
Like that segment was dope.
Bro, yeah, they had a really good sequence where that shit was fire. And then we get a ref bump. So then we get some shenanigans. And it's like you knew when the ref bump.
You knew what the fuck was going on here, bro.
Yeah. But yeah, and exactly, we knew what the fuck was going on. I was like, okay, here comes the shenanigans. And I would say I was surprised, like, because we also knew Punk was there, but
right,
no Judgment Day shenanigans. Like they actually stuck to their word, which was them being banned, which I find interesting. I wonder if that may be part of a storyline or not. We'll see. But yeah, like
you said, we were banned. Where were y'all at?
Yeah, but the shenanigans. So yeah, we get a ref bump, and another ref. Drew gets the pin, and another ref finally comes out, and the way they shot the camera angle was perfect.
That was great.
That was great. I was shocked, and like the ref starts doing the count, and then on the second count, right before he stops, I saw the Nikes, and I was like, oh, that's not the ref. And I saw that, like, and then that's when like he does the 2 count, and then the camera angle switches, and it's fucking CM Punk, and I was like, the way that they shot this was so like on point. It was on, like, every angle was so on point.
This is how you know, like, I just worked way too long with like shoes and shit. Cause he slid in, I was like, damn, somebody got some clean ass ones on right now. And I was like, oh shit, that's not a ref at all. I'm looking at the shoes more. I'm looking at like the ref. I'm like, damn, one's fresh and brand new. All right. Oh shit, it's Punk. And so he goes for the pin and then goes the 1, the 2, and then stops. And the raise. I count to 3. The raise up. Man. And first off, the raise up from Drew was hilarious. He's looking like, oh, this motherfucker did not just fool me into thinking I'm close to winning. And I pop my head up because you stop. What the fuck? And then also the second, like the long-term storytelling of like, you know, we wanted to see Punk as a special guest referee for the Seth match, and him actually coming in here and doing that was also fucking gold.
I didn't even think about that. Like, yeah, that's fucking great.
Yeah, that's like that's amazing, bro. Yeah, and we get Dirty Punk, low blow.
Yeah,
we get a low blow.
Yeah,
like,
Drew. Yeah, Drew shoves him to the side of, or to the ring post, and he's like,
Homer Simpson choking this man out like it was his son in the corner. That's
Drew,
rage.
Yeah, exactly. And then Drew kicked him in the balls, Punk kicked Drew in the balls, and then that sets up for another South of Heaven, and fucking Damian Priest did the unthinkable, and he retained.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Once again, just being how I am is that like it was just 3 shows or 3 matches back to back where we had some kind of like interference. This one was the one that made the most sense to me because we expected this. We didn't know how he was going to lose. We talked about this in the predictions. So we're like, we knew that he was going to lose, and we knew there was going to be Punk interference, but we didn't know exactly how. And the how of this made it really worth it. Like the whole slide into the ring as the ref, that was dope. It created another like big like WWE history moment. Because when we go back and think about this 10 years from now, I was like, oh, remember that time where Punk slid in on Drew? Like that's a big moment. That's a big WWE history or historical moment. My thing is now where do we go? Do we get Drew Punk at Toronto and Money in the Bank? I don't think so. Cause I think the clip, from the presser was that like he was like, oh, I was only cleared for referee activity. I wasn't cleared for like in ring stuff yet. Yeah, if that's the case,
he says he should be getting. He's seeing his doctor again this week, and he's going to be on Smack. He's seeing his doctor on Monday, I believe, and he's going to break. He's going to be on SmackDown. SmackDown's going to be in Chicago. Right. He's going to be at SmackDown and announce hopefully the good news of him being fully cleared. Right.
And so if best case scenario is that we do get it at Money in the Bank, although I don't think that's a Money in the Bank kind of like match. I think you get that at SummerSlam. So now we're looking at, and we talked about it before, now it's a 7th month build of Punk and Drew. We waited 7 months to see them get in the ring. That's a pretty fucking long time, bro.
It's a long time, but it's a long time. And to their credit, though, they kept us interested in still salivating to, like, it hasn't been boring. I still want them to get in the ring, but I'm more patient with this as opposed to like when it was taking Mercedes or even just this fucking QR code. If Uncle Howdy doesn't debut tomorrow, dude, I'm over it. I'm already over it. I'm sick of it. Stop fucking with my television. Show up.
And even with like the Uncle Howdy stuff, is that like we're gonna get them hopefully today when people listen to this. But like, where do we go from there? It's gonna take another 4 to build up the storylines for them. Like they'll probably have their first match at SummerSlam. So it's like just the builds of stuff. Like that's what like it just wears so much on me because we were waiting so long, and rightfully so. It's not like Drew and Punk wouldn't have happened if both of them weren't injured, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm not like judging them or blaming them for being injured. It's just like, damn, bro. Every week we're waiting for them to touch up. So this match it better be fucking great. I also like how he shut down somebody's fan question of like, yeah, at this point you guys can only touch in the Hell in the Cell. He was like, yeah, dude, you got to stop that fantasy booking.
Yeah, this ain't for me.
This ain't like Hell in the Cell, bro.
Yeah, we could have put that in our news. It looks like they're bringing back Bad Blood for maybe the October pay-per-view. Mm-hmm. And it's speculated that we may get... Yeah, so there have been creative pitches within WWE to bring back the old WWE pay-per-view, Bad Blood. The idea would be to use the title... the title of Bad Blood, in October to tie into the anniversary of the first ever Hell in a Cell of Undertaker and Shawn Michaels. Because the October pay-per-view usually was, I want to say, if it wasn't Hell in a Cell, it was Clash of the Champions was usually September. I don't remember what the October pay-per-view used to be. I want to say it used to be Hell in a Cell, but yeah, obviously they for a while, the last couple of years, they've gone away from the besides Elimination Chamber, we don't have TLC anymore.
The thematic, like pay-per-view names for the matches, or matches being pay-per-view names.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have a TLC anymore, or Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. It looks like it's going back to a match. So we may get a Hell in a Cell match in October.
Who do you want in that? Who's like, and we'll do. Oof, that's tough, man. Like I'm thinking, like SmackDown wise, like. you put Cody in the Hell in a Cell. Who do you put him in there with?
AJ or Randy.
Oh,
fuck it, both. Fuck it.
You know me. I want give me the fatal 4-way. You know, put another person there, like AJ, fucking Randy, KO, Cody. Throw them boys in the cage and let me just see how this shit works out. And then on like the Raw side, like do you do like Gunther in a Hell in a Cell with like fucking Punk or Priest or something like that? Like,
okay, assuming that they do like one women's, one men's.
Mm-hmm.
All right, if we keep the Cody as the male one, then I say put Liv and Rhea in that cell.
Ooh.
And then Dominic has to choose which one to help or something. Hey.
Nah, keep Dominic away from the cage, bro. He's already interfered with them opening the cage door for Becky. Like, no.
Hey, man, if it wasn't for Strowman,
I want you outside.
Big ass.
I want you outside in the high chair, just waiting.
or put him in a shark cage. You know, we get a custody of
hang him above the ring.
Yeah,
somebody get the key and let him out. Somebody get the bandana to pull off. Yeah, I like that. I like that a lot. I think that you could also run that same thing with like, you do like
Bayley and I will be firing the Hill Cell too.
See, honestly. And I'm for the sickos. Give me Jade and Bianca in there. If y'all gonna do this breakup thing, put them in there. Give me the first 2 black women in a Hell in a Cell. Let them go.
Man, damn. All right. See, you putting the first 2 black. Yeah. See, now I want that. Like, I don't want them to fight. It's too soon. I don't want them to fight. But you say the first black woman in the Hell. Yeah, I need that.
In the Hell in a Cell.
Let's check that box off.
Let me see that.
Fuck. Oh, this is all Mercedes' fault. We could have got this already. Shit. Naomi's there too. Let's make it a triple threat. Fuck it.
Man, let me see these women get active, yo. Give me the first 2 black women in Hell in a Cell. Book it, Triple H. Book it. Actually, I don't know. I don't want them to break up, but we'll see how this plays out. Because Friday's SmackDown gonna be a very interesting SmackDown. We got Punk coming in. We have the aftermath of like the belts and whatnot. Of course, some more Nia build up with Tiffany and stuff like that.
And Bloodline.
And Bloodline. So it's gonna be a very interesting SmackDown. Raw will be interesting too. I know. Somebody said Drew better interfere in every goddamn match on Raw. Like he better interfere in everybody's shit just because he's that fucking mad.
Yeah, honestly, I'm assuming he'll be putting money in. If he doesn't get a solo match with Punk, I'm assuming he'll be in Money in the Bank, and then Punk fucks him out of that again.
I'm staying away from all matches until you give me this match. I'm not jumping in this ring. I'm putting my hands on this dude. Pause. Like. Mm-hmm. Because even if you do put Drew in Money in the Bank, like you said, Punk's just going to show up out of nowhere, smack this man with the briefcase, push him off the ladder or some shit like that, and cost him. Mm-hmm. But also, they do need individuals in this match. I think announced so far it was Ludwig,
and Jay Uso.
Who else is in Jay? There's also, I think, 2 more maybe. Let me see here. Money in the Bank.
I'm wondering, like, if are we just doing announcing, or are there going to be qualifiers? Because
well, I thought they did. Are they not in there just yet?
I have no idea. I know the pay-per-view is like in fucking 3 weeks, but yeah, no, I have no idea. Or 4 weeks, 3 or 4
Maybe
weeks.
You might be right. Maybe they should announce that they will. Why not? Because then why the fuck would Jay be like, oh, I'm
because he got myself. Yeah, and then Ludwig also, he had like a whole fucking 2-minute vignette saying that he's. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just curious.
No qualifiers. Like, niggas are just saying it.
Fuck, Ricochet, you better bring your ass back, bro. say I got one more.
They were thinking about it. You need a high flyer. If there is no Ricochet, who do you put in as the high flyer? Do you do
Dragon Lee or Kofi?
That's what I was thinking too. I would probably lean more so Dragon Lee. I would love to see Dragon Lee in that kind of spot, just because it would once again build his star up. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. Definitely Dragon Lee. You might throw Santos in there. Santos might get in there too, but then again, also keep them away. Like, I don't know. Whoever wins it, I do want them to be somebody who's in the mid area, like a lower to mid card. That way we can build like another main event guy. But honestly, shit. It won't be LA Knight because we're like LA Knight's fighting Logan at SummerSlam, so he's gonna miss that.
Ideally, yeah.
Ludwig's in it, so you wouldn't throw Gunther in it, and also
No,
Gunther has a shot at the title in SummerSlam.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, it would have to be somebody low to mid, and honestly, they might just make Jay win it.
Finn Balor could possibly be in it.
There's storylines there that you can play with too. As Finn gets it, because
Fucking,
Finn needs one.
he
Needs one, but he
need one. And during one of the backstage, like during the whole missing key fob thing, missing key card, someone pointed out like there was a demon briefcase, which I've never seen that briefcase before. So I was
there was a demon briefcase.
yeah, there was a
I didn't see
briefcase
that.
with the demon on it or whatever. They do the custom briefcase, and I'm like,
Ooh.
I don't know if that's like, yeah, if that's just like a random red herring, or if they were like, oh, this looks cool, let's just put it up here just for fuck's sake. But I'd be
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. But do we need another Judgment Day member with a briefcase? I don't know. I don't know. I love Finn Balor though. I know that.
You're right.
So, and I don't think Jay needs it either.
Damn.
Personally, he's extremely over. If he won two matches, in that ended up in a title match, it'd be fine. Like you could book around.
And he's doing it effectively. Do you know how crazy it is to be extremely over with like 7 moves in the bag? Like, you know how like that's unheard of, bro. Like he doesn't have to have the craziest movesets, but he's so over right now. Mm-hmm. And even then, like, okay, you give Jay the briefcase. Where does he go? Like, you go after Cody? You just say you was friends with the boy. Like, you don't really need to do that. And then you go after, Priest or whoever holds the world heavyweight. I'm assuming Priest right now because Priest is a champion. Like, you could run it back, I guess. I don't know. I don't think the stories move very well with like Jay. I think, and also we want to create newer stars. So
based off of because to me that's what the Money in the Bank should be. You have a mid carder ish person, get it, and then that way you can elevate them to that main top card. So yeah, I know. Yeah, we got to see who else is in there, but just based off the 2 names that I know for sure are in there, I don't see Ludwig winning it, and Jay doesn't need to. He could, but he doesn't need it. But
yeah, he doesn't. With that being said, that was our review to the Clash of the Castle pay-per-view. If you had to put a number on it, where are you going out of 5?
Out of 5, I'll do like a 4.2 or
okay.
4.5. Out of the I'm still really enjoying the 5 match structure for the PLEs
I do like that too.
Right now.
Yeah.
Out of I was texting GT last night. Between this King and Queen and Saudi and Backlash, I would say this is my favorite out of the 3 thus far. And all 3 PLEs have been good to me.
They have been solid.
Yeah, they've been solid, and they've been like coming home, like because I didn't start this pay-per-view until like 8:30 or maybe close to 9, and it's only it was 10 minutes shy of 3 hours, so it was perfect. I was done by 11:30. I still was able to get a little video games in before I went to sleep. So like I like the 5 match structure for the smaller pay-per-views, and that they're not long as fuck. They're not all 4 hours and whatnot.
You didn't have to break it up or nothing like that.
Yeah, I didn't have to watch half of it and then watch the other half right before I recorded.
I think even the last match was I think there was 40 minutes left on it, and I was like, damn, this match is 40 minutes, and I watched it and it didn't feel like 40, and it was a cool, and I don't think it was 40 with entrances and shit like that. But even then, maybe a 20-25 minute match.
I'll say 4.
I thought that was good.
4.2.
Yeah. I'm slightly under. I'll probably go 3.5. It wasn't abysmal. It wasn't perfection to me, but I think 3.5 is right there in the middle. I'm okay with that. I think it was a decent PLE for sure.
Okay. Out of 5. All right, I gotta drop. I'll go to 3.8 because 4 seems like
4 is damn near
it's pretty good. Yeah, I'll go 3.8.
Yeah, we can rock with that. That's
if
cool.
if 3.5 is right in the middle, I'll do like a 3.8.
Yeah.
I think it was a little bit above the middle. It wasn't super crazy. Some of the finishes were, but yeah, solid pay per view. So
Yeah, absolutely. All right, people. That was it. We will catch you guys in the next episode, which will be more structured. 3 shows again. SmackDown, Raw, AEW. Once again, don't forget to follow us on Spotify, subscribe to us on YouTube. That's where we are going to be able to generate the most revenue for us and help us continue this lovely podcast.
yeah, Monday Night Wave on X/FKA Twitter. So you can follow us on that.
Yes, indeed.
And also, Happy Father's Day.
Yeah. Let's shout out to all the dads out there. Happy Father's Day, man. Like, especially the ones who are with your kids. Like, you deadbeats, you raise. We don't like you.
Yeah.
As Metro says, if he doesn't trust you. All right. Yeah, we're gonna get out of here. It's been great. We will talk to you guys in the next one. It's been real. Peace out.
Too sweet.